Okay, so now we are starting this topic, and we are at Parliamentary Standing Committee. So in this topic, we know that why it is in news, because due to the pandemic, significant amount of tenure of parliamentary standing committees was lost. While more on news, the Rajya Sabha chairman also called for two-year fixed fixed tenure for house panels. So that has also been done by the Rajya Sabha chairman, the 2 years fixed tenure of house panels, and those two options are being looked at. One is to extend the term for the panels for a year, and second is to form a new committee with a fixed tenure of 2 years. So at present, tenure of Parliamentary Standing Committee is 1 year. Now they want to fix it for 2 years. Now Standing Committee, basically on the basis of the nature of the functions performed by them, Standing Committees can be classified into 6 categories. Basically, Financial Committee, there could be a Financial Committee, there could be a Departmental Standing Committee related to ministries, departments, then Committee to Inquire, Committee to Scrutinizing and Control, and Committee to relating to the day-to-day business of the House, and Housekeeping Committees or Service Committees here. So we know that there is 6 committees which have been categorized as per the work they done. First is Financial Committee, then second is Departmental Standing Committee, then Inquiry Committee, and then Scrutinizing and Control, the committee relating to day-to-day business of the House, Housekeeping Committee or Service Committee. Now what about the Parliamentary Committee? We got into much detail. The Parliament are of 2 kinds. We know that it is of 2 kinds, that is Standing Committee and Ad hoc Committee. Standing Committee, basically permanent in nature, constituted every year, work on continuous basis. So it's basically permanent in nature, constitute every year and work on a continuous basis. So basically they are fixed for 1 year. Now Ad hoc Committee we have that is also temporary in nature, ceases to exist on completion of the task assigned to them. So we have 2 committees here. First is of a Standing Committee, that is a permanent in nature, every year it constitutes and it has continuous basis. Ad hoc is related to the work that is assigned to the committee. Now we have another, that a constitution makes a mention of these committees at different places but without making any specific provisions regarding their compositions, tenure, etc. All these matters are dealt by the rules of 2 houses. The main object of Parliamentary Standing Committee is to ensure their detailed scrutiny and uphold government accountability for non-partisan members. So basically they have objective that they want to ensure detailed scrutiny and uphold government accountability, aids the opposition to play a greater role in exercising control over the executive. Also they want to engage with relevant stakeholders and ensure financial prudence. Okay, so they want to ensure financial prudence, as we know. And Parliamentary Standing Committee draw their authority from Article 105. So it is important we need to know that Article 105 is related to Parliamentary Standing Committee. Okay. So on privilege of the Parliament member, Article 118 on Parliament is not bound by any recommendation of the committee. Means Article 118 on the Parliament is not bound by the recommendation of such committee. Now we have Office of Profits article that is related to what we need to know about this Office of Profit. Office of Profit, we know that the person cannot appointed as a president, governor, minister until he is in the position of Office of Profit. So why it is in news? The Parliament panel has sought center responsible for a long pending demand for amending the constitution to clear ambiguity over definition of office of prophet. What about office of prophet? As we know, office of prophet basically has not been defined in the constitution under the Representation of People Act. So it has not been defined anywhere, and but different courts have interpreted it to mean a position of certain duties that are more or less of a public character. Just give me a minute. Now there is an essence. Is that legislature? Just give me a minute. I need to. 1 minute. Sorry for the interruption. Now we were at what is the essence that legislature should be carry out their duties in a free manner without any obligation to government of the day. Now what are the rulings by the court? The Supreme Court in Pradyut Bardolai versus Swampna Roy in 2001 outlined that the four broad principles for determining whether an office attracts the constitutional disqualification. These are basically whether the government exercises control over appointment, removal and performance of the functions of the office. Now whether the office has any remuneration attached to it, that is also need to be confirmed, and whether the body in which the office is held as government power, realizing money, allotment of land, granting license, many other things. Now whether the office enables the holder to influence by way of patronage. The Supreme Court, while upholding the disqualification of Jaya Bachchan from Rajya Sabha in 2006, had said for the deciding question as to whether one is holding an office of profit or not. Now what is relevant is whether the office is capable of yielding a profit for a pecuniary gain, and not whether the person actually obtained a monetary gain. Okay, constitutional provision under Article 102 subarticle 1 and 191 subarticle 1, an MP or MLA is barred from holding an office of profit under the central or state government. Also under Representation of Peoples Act 1951, holding an office of profit is ground for disqualification. Okay, so the office of profit laws simply seeks to reinforce a basic feature of the constitution. Okay, so the principal separation of power between the legislature and the executive, the principle which basically lies with under the legislature and executive. Now legal provision is that the Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act 1959 list a wide range number of offices that are exempted from disqualification. Okay, now we have to read about Rajya Sabha elections, how that is to be conducted, what are the provisions. So recently Rajya Sabha elections to 19 seats across 8 states were conducted. Okay, so Rajya Sabha election, that we know that it is through a nomination, that is not directly elected. So we know that the Lok Sabha election is somewhere where men be directly elected through the people, but here it is elected through the representative. So we'll get into the detail that why permanent body but 1/3 member retire every 2 years. It is a permanent body, but 1/3 has to be retired in every 2 years. Now who elect that? Elected by member of State Legislative Assembly. Okay, so elected by the elected members of State Legislative Assembly. Now, proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, like similar when we appoint to the president, is a single transferable vote, and it is also a transferable vote. Now, what are the constitutional bases here? That the fourth schedule, seats allocated on basis of population, that we know that in Uttar Pradesh it is more seats than compared to the south. So constitutional basis, it is basically dealt with Article 80, and total strength 250, out of which 12 is to be nominated by the president, and term is 6 years, and by the elected member remains till remainder of the term. Basically they are for 6 years and 1/3 is retired every 2 years. So maximum a person could be here for 6 years. If by the election elected member remained till the remainder of the term. Okay, so Article 84 is also dealt with this. It is qualification of the members. Qualification of members like citizen of India, that is to be not less than 30 years of age. In Lok Sabha it is 25, and for the president we have 35, and for the Panchayat election we know that the age is 21. Now, what are the other qualifications prescribed by Parliament? That some other qualifications could be. Now we have some more other news. Just a moment. Other news is Article 164, sub-article 1A. So here it states that the total number of ministers, including the chief ministers, the council of ministers and the state, shall not exceed 15% of the member of the meeting of legislative assembly. So they want to say here that the total number of ministers, including the chief minister, means chief minister is also included here, same, and total number of ministers in case of council of ministers in a state shall not exceed 15% of the total number of members in the legislative assembly of such state. That was the issue. Now it was inserted in Article 91st Amendment of the Constitution. It was inserted that 15% is the total strength of the council, total strength of the ministers. Okay, so it has been argued that the present strength of council of ministers in MP is violative of Article 164, sub-article 1A. So what is a breach of privileges? Supreme Court recently gave relief to Arnab Goswami in breach of privilege case for making derogatory remarks against CM of Maharashtra. Now the breach of privileges is a violation of any privileges of MP, Parliament, Article 105 or MLA, both the houses of state legislature. Now Article 160, 94, any act that obstruct or impedes either house of the state legislature in performing its functions is treated as breach of privileges. Now, as there is no law enacted by the Parliament, breach of privileges are governed by the British Parliamentary Conventions. There is no such law act by the Parliament, and that has to be governed by the British Parliamentary Conventions. Now, Member of Parliament Local Area Development Fund, that is MPLAD, that is Member of Parliament Local Member of Parliament Local Area Development Fund, MPLAD, Member of Parliament, Local Area Development, MP-led. Member of Parliament have urged government to release fund for project sanction in 2018 and 2019, which were suspended due to corona pandemic. So MP-led scheme is a central government scheme which provides each MP with the choice to suggest the district collector to work for to a tune of 5 crore per annum. So basically there is a fund that is to be given by the parliament, a member of parliament, that is to be 5 crore per annum for the work that is to be done by the district collector. Now MP also have to recommend every year works costing at least 15% of MP-led entitlements, means 15% of MP-led entitlements for the year of areas habited by Supreme Court population, and 7